Hey good people, good morning to you. Welcome back to DBS this morning, and I am so excited today because I'm sure you're familiar with this lady's face, but today we are here for a different capacity, and I want to introduce you to a movement that she started, which is called Sex Talk with Ali. And yes, you heard it right, because you know what, knowing and understanding our bodies, whether we are male, female, or whatever we identify with, is extremely important. So Ali, how are you today, hon?
I am fabulous. I'm always fabulous.
Yes, and somehow the universe has conspired and you are matching with my mic buffer, so I think everything was supposed to happen. Now, I'm very excited to have you today in this capacity because I feel like sexuality, and not just talking about it in St. Lucia, but maybe it's a Caribbean culture, it's very taboo and we're not too open. I think people are slowly trying to change, and I think it's important that we all know that we are supposed to talk about this. And I really want people to know that this is something very important, and we should get to know and understand our bodies and what's going on. So I think you're a very brave lady for starting this.
I've been told that, yes.
So just tell us a little bit about how it came about.
Okay, well, professionally, I'm a health educator. But coincidentally, amazingly, however, it just happened that I found myself talking a lot about sex and sexual issues, things surrounding sexual health whenever I go out on the job, and it's not specifically to a topic that I'm dealing with in the moment. And I noticed that men, women, children, their behavior, the questions, the attitude, problems in relationships, their own bodies, the questions that they ask you. And I'm like, while we may think people know certain things, there's a lot that they don't know, even the basics. And also I've been told, because you're so bold and you're so forthcoming, why don't you do something that is going to allow us to really learn? And I love the way that you explain things. You make it so real, so practical, and so simple. So do something for us. I wasted a whole lot of time doing that because it really is time consuming. But I'm like, let me start something. So I decided to start off this Facebook page, and I searched for a name. I wanted it to be something that immediately you know what it is about, what it will be about, and also to drum up excitement. And when it comes to sex, we know. So I decided I'm going to put in sex with Ali. So you know it's Alison talking to you about sexual issues. And so I came up with Sex Talk with Ali. And I love it, actually.
I mean, I could feel a passion about it, and definitely use the word bold. I'm going to second that, because you have to be somebody who is brave, especially with how our culture is about certain topics, to be able to be out in an open forum like that and speak about it. So with this journey, how long has it been since you decided to formally start that page?
Okay, it's not been that long. I started at the ending of April. April 28th was my first post to the page. Yes. And since then, the excitement, the followers, the people liking, it is just growing and growing and growing. Along with that are people making suggestions of what to talk about. And I invited them to do so, but somebody suggested even before I invited. And I figured, oh, great. So let me ask people, you want me to talk about something? Ask. And they've not only been following and liking, but they've been sharing the topics. And one of the things is that I love your show. I love your show. I love what you do. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think of it as a show, but great. You know, and the fact that they're learning and that they're enjoying is like, you have me cracking up. So I'm laughing while I'm learning, which is what I wanted. So I'm not just sitting there, you know, but really giving you something to pay attention to while you learn.
Now, when I stumbled on the page, that's one of the things that caught my attention, because there's lots of videos there, but you're very candid, very casual about it, which just makes it a little bit more relaxed. And, you know, not having that sort of uptight structure, I think really works for what you want to share, because you want to make people comfortable. And especially for the youth, because I guess, you know, being a mom is something that as the journey continues, it opens my eyes. And, you know, I have a preteen, voices breaking and everything. I was just like, you know, there's what's going to happen next. And, you know, for the sake of his own privacy, I've been getting some questions, which I will not disclose because he'll probably kill me if he knows I'm saying this on the show. But I freak out internally and I make it my duty to know that, okay, when he asks something and I'm not prepared for it, don't show it on the outside, because I don't want to, that initial reaction can close somebody up. And I just want to make sure that even if I'm not prepared, I play it cool, I go do the research and find a way for his age level to explain things, because I would much rather know, and people, you guys need to listen to this, do you want your kids learning the truth from outsiders, from strangers, from their classmates who think they know and don't know? Where do you want them to get that information from? And this is why I thought your page was so important, because shortly after I had to deal and explain something to my son was when I met you and discovered what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, I like this forum, and I just want to be open like that with my son. So I tell him all the time, any questions, somebody tells you something, come back to me and I will cross-reference and let you know if they're telling you the truth or not. Because it's important to just know these things, because then this is how people get caught up in doing things the wrong way, unhealthily. And then how would you know if you're sick if you don't touch and explore your body? Like topics like masturbation. I think we sexualize certain things so much that we make it seem wrong or seem bad. But how will I know if something's wrong with my breast if I don't do my self-breast exam? And, this was like a reference I had to do explaining to younger kids as well. So, I mean, how do you deal with explaining to people, especially if you're having like a one-on-one or personal conversation and they're seemingly shy or afraid to really open up and ask about these questions? How do you deal with that?
One of the things I find works for me is to bring it back to myself and relate it to me and not just what I know, but what I've experienced. And so I try to give real life experiences. And if you can break it down that way, it lets them see that you're really not the only one dealing with the issue. And while I understand being embarrassed, I understand being ashamed, there really is nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about. And I've experienced it, this person has experienced it, and this is what it is. Break it down, make it practical. It is a reality, it's happening, but this is what you can do. It is not scary, it is not way out there. And all of us as human beings, we're dealing with it. We all have a vagina, we all have a penis, we all have sex, will have sex, maybe stopped having sex, but the point is, at the end of the day, sex is real. We're here because of an act of sex, aren't we? And if your mom did not have sex with your dad and vice versa, you would not be here. So let's break it down, whether it be an issue of a smelly vagina, of a penis that is hurting or has a bump or sore, whatever, or masturbation, or something about size, or a relationship issue, whatever it is, let us talk it out, break it down, and deal with it as it comes.
And I think that's why it's super important, because it leads directly, as far as I'm concerned, to self-love, self-confidence, because sometimes we don't understand why certain parts of our bodies look this way, or we think we're abnormal. And then, so there's so much to learn. But right now, guys, this is just a little tip of the iceberg, a little teaser. If you want to find out more of our discussion, because we are going to continue, then stay tuned, because tomorrow we're going to have part 2 as we continue with Sex Talk with Ali.